What's up, Transformers fans? I'm Mondo, and this is another Moonbase 84 transmission. Hasbro recently revealed and rolled out, pun fully intended, the pre-orders for the Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime, and he looks absolutely amazing. While we eagerly await to get our hands on him, I started to reflect on who he's succeeding, the one and only Earthrise Prime, and that toy's place within the history of Optimus Prime toys. Long story short, that led me into thinking about all the Prime toys throughout the years and which are the standouts, or in comic book terms, key Optimus Prime toys. This list was both easy and difficult because there are Prime toys that are no-brainers, but gets a little tougher as you go on through the years. Ultimately, I came up with 10 toys for my list, so sit back and chill as we look at the 10 most influential / iconic Optimus Prime toys. I also want to note that this list is for Hasbro releases only because adding the Takara stuff would just make coming up with this list even harder than it already was. Really quick before we do, it's time for the YouTube begging. So if you stumbled onto our little but mighty channel, hit the like button, subscribe, and all that jazz, and I'd really appreciate it. Also remember that this list is subjective and is just my opinion. Your opinions will probably vary, so after the video feel free to comment to let me know your thoughts, but remember to be kind to me as well as others. At the end of the day, we are all just fans of this great franchise. I also want to give credit to Cybertron.com, where I got most of the images for this video, and I will put a link to their website in the description. Okay, let's talk about these Optimus Prime toys. I figured that the best way to do this list is to start at the very beginning and work my way over the years to our current time. Remember when I said that parts of this list were easy? Obviously then, the first Prime we are going to talk about is the OG, the GOAT, the one and only, reissues aside, G1 Optimus Prime. The very first Prime toy hit the scene along with the Transformers brand as a whole in 1984 and took the world by storm. Prime was the centerpiece of the toy line, and rightly so. His truck mode was very realistic and looked awesome, while his cool robot mode was enhanced by the play value of converting his trailer into a med bay or battle station. We fell in love with the Autobot Commander on screen with the cartoon, and that love carried over to being able to make up our own adventures with the very first Optimus Prime toy. This was the start of a pop culture phenomenon. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who at least hasn't heard the name Optimus Prime. I'm not really sure what else to say, except that this toy is not only an iconic, if not the most iconic, Transformers toy, but an iconic toy in general. Now that I've sung my praises about the original Prime, I have a slight disclaimer. He wasn't my first Optimus Prime toy, even though I did get him a bit after I got the next Prime on the list, that being Power Master Optimus Prime. The year was 1988, and I remember it like it was yesterday when my dad surprised me with Power Master Prime. I'm from a more rural area, and the first Prime toy was hard to get your hands on. For 4 long years I wanted that Prime for myself, but being so popular, he was hard to come by. I only experienced him through playing with friends. Then my dad came with the Power Master Prime, and I couldn't have been happier. As a kid, not only was he a Prime of my very own, but he was an upgrade. To this day, I love Power Master Prime. One of my first videos on the channel was about getting this figure once again. The truck mode combined with the trailer is a beefed up war wagon that makes Decepticons shake in their stabilizers. The Power Master gimmick is a fun play feature that unlocks Prime's ability to transform. Prime's normal robot mode is great. His trailer converts into a more robust battle station than the original, and if that wasn't enough, you have his combination with the trailer for his super mode. There's so much play value with this figure. If Power Master Prime isn't iconic, he's definitely influential as well as a fan favorite. Like the Prime before him, the original Power Master Prime has been reissued several times, and we've seen more than a few updated takes on this awesome toy. I don't have any Masterpiece Transformers in my collection, but I'm very tempted to get the upcoming MP Power Master Prime. Not too long after getting Power Master Prime, I sort of fell out of being interested in toys, as a lot of kids heading into their teenage years do. I still love Transformers and was excited when Beast Wars came on the scene. I just pretty much stopped getting the toys, which, shame on me, that also held true for the G2 era. I enjoyed the short-lived G2 comic, but didn't get any of the toys, so I missed out on the next Prime toy on my list, 1995's Laser Optimus Prime. The G2 era brought us 3 Prime toys, the redeco of the original Prime toy with some new bells and whistles, my personal favorite G2 Optimus, the Combat Hero Prime, and of course, the Laser Prime. To be honest, I never really liked the look of Laser Prime's robot mode. I've always thought his shoulders were too big and they just look awkward to me. I don't absolutely hate it, but it's just not my favorite look for him. That being said, I can't deny his place among Optimus toys. Many did like this look for Prime, and I will say I do like his truck mode. Also, his new tanker type trailer brings a new look to Prime's alt mode and makes for a fun battle station with extra play value. So while not my favorite look or toy for Prime, he deserves a place on this list, and judging by how many times this look has been updated and brought back, I'm sure that many fans agree. It's also funny to me that while I don't care for those big shoulders on Prime, I don't mind them when he's repainted for Scourge, one of those unanswerable mysteries, I guess. The year was 2001, and after some years of Beast Wars Transformers, which was great, but unfortunately culminated with the terrible Beast Machines era of shows and toys, it was time for Transformers to sort of get back to its roots. This came in the form of car robots in Japan and what we in the US have come to call Robots in Disguise 2001. Not only did RID bring back our beloved Autobot leader, but they also brought him back in a big way. Redesigned but still recognizable, as well as sporting a new fire truck alt mode, this Optimus Prime was a fresh look for the character. It took me a while to warm up to the RID cartoon, but I eventually did, and I've come to love this iteration of Prime. The toy is just cool. I love the fire truck mode, and the missiles popping up all along the ladder are just badass. I will say that I find it funny that only the front of the fire truck transforms into the basic Prime figure, so if you happen to lose the rest of it, you would have a Prime that could no longer roll out. Speaking of the basic Prime figure in this toy, I really like the aesthetic of it. It's just a great looking Prime, but if you manage to keep the toy intact, the back of the fire truck becomes a pretty good battle station, as a lot of Prime toys are wont to do. Also, as many Prime toys do, of course, you have a super mode by combining the front and back of the truck. To me, I like the super mode, but don't love it. I can appreciate it while still thinking that it seems a bit off. There's also that one last tiny thing about this toy, being if you get the RID Ultra Magnus, then you could combine Prime with him to form the truly awesome Omega Prime. Bottom line, that while not revisited nearly as often as other toys, this Prime makes my list for the fact that this was the return of Optimus to Transformers. The toy has play value and features through the roof, and it's just plain awesome. Once again, at this point in time, I was still not really picking up Transformers toys, so this Prime is on my wish list of toys that I want to add to my collection. Oh, and I jumped at backing my first ever HasLab, so I didn't miss out on getting what looks to be an amazing take on RID Prime. Next, we have the dawn of the higher end market of Transformers geared towards collectors over kids, with 2004's 20th anniversary Optimus Prime. The 20th anniversary Prime is the first masterpiece Transformer, and what better way to launch a collector-focused line than to take the beloved Autobot commander as he looked in the G1 cartoon, design him with more complex engineering, and incorporate modern articulation. That was a winning formula. Fans that grew up with the G1 Prime were all over this figure, and the masterpiece line obviously continues today. The masterpiece rendition of G1 Prime has been continuously worked on and improved over the years since this 20th anniversary figure, but this figure has to make my list not only because it launched a whole new collector-focused line, but also because he also looks good to this day. I know we recently got the new MP44, which looks incredible, but that figure, along with the masterpiece line, might never have gotten off the ground without the success of this Optimus. The Unicron trilogy gave us 3 new unique takes on Prime. Armada Prime gives me a slight Power Master Prime vibe. Energon Prime is a portly fellow that has a colorful super mode that reminds me of the Voltron made up of vehicles. And then we have my pick to make my list, Cybertron Optimus Prime. For me personally, Armada Prime has always been my favorite version of Prime from the Unicron trilogy, probably because he gives me some Power Master vibes as I mentioned. If I'm going to be honest though, Cybertron Prime is the most iconic / influential of the Unicron trilogy's toys. Once again, he returns with a cool futuristic death-dealing fire truck alt mode, but this time it has a flight mode. This toy has a ton going for it when talking about play value. It features firing missiles, lights and sounds, a battle station mode, as well as a super robot mode, in addition to the fire truck flight mode. Here, the basic robot mode really pops, and I think it is a really good Optimus look. And of course, it all culminates with the very badassatron super mode. Like many on this list, Cybertron Prime has been revisited a lot over the years since its first appearance. It's a great Prime toy, a great Prime design that is a must for this list. 2006 brought us the Transformers Classics Voyager class Optimus Prime. While the deluxe version was pretty cool, it was a little wonky, especially in truck mode. The Voyager class was much better in my humble opinion. We love this release because it gave us a more affordable G1 Prime than the Masterpiece while still looking good. I really like how the truck mode is a modern looking truck while keeping that G1 feel. Unfortunately, it wasn't very heavy at all with play features, but still a great toy nonetheless. This figure makes the list because this is the return of G1 in a main Transformers line, as well as many fans' first G1 Optimus Prime. In 2008, the Transformers animated cartoon brought us a very different look for our favorite robots in disguise. The highly stylized design of the show divided older fans, to say the least. The storyline of the show also shook up a lot of things that we had come to know and love, as far as things like characterizations. Like many post-G1 Transformers shows that came before, it took me a bit to warm up to the cartoon, but as per usual, I ended up really enjoying it. The show was my oldest son's gateway into Transformers, and naturally he wanted toys from the show, and so did I. The toy line in general did a fantastic job of bringing those highly stylized designs from the show into plastic form in a way that you wouldn't think possible. Because of that, I had to include an animated Optimus Prime on the list. While the deluxe Cybertron and Earth mode animated Primes are nice figures, the animated Voyager makes my list. The Voyager Prime just outshines the two deluxes. For one, if you wanted a clean, non-battle damaged Earth mode animated Prime, you had to go with the Voyager, unless you wanted to get the Japanese deluxe release. The deluxe we got was the battle damaged version in a 2-pack with Megatron. The Voyager Prime gives you the option of having him with his battle mask on or off, depending on your preference, with a flip of a switch, something that neither of the deluxe Primes gave you as an option of doing. The bot mode looks great and does a fantastic job of bringing the stylized Transformers animated design into toy form, as I mentioned. Again, we have the fire truck alt mode, but admittedly, he doesn't look the fire truck part. To me, he looks like a stylized truck cab. His accessories can be added to the alt mode to kind of make him look more like a fire truck, but they pretty much fail in that regard. Still, it's a cool truck mode, and let's face it, the show itself couldn't make up its mind, often switching from a truck mode like the toy in a more robust mode. Full disclosure, I have never really been into the looks of the Bayverse Transformers. While not a total hater, I agree with their detractors. The designs are just too busy and insect-like for my taste, along with very off-putting facial features. This might upset some who are watching this, but because of this, I unfortunately couldn't include any of the Bayverse Prime toys. Now, I don't hate the toys per se, but to me, none of them stand out as iconic or influential. But if you take those designs and streamline and simplify them while mixing in a more traditional Transformers look, then you have Transformers Prime, and a toy that does make my list. That being the 2011 Transformers Prime First Edition Optimus Prime. The first edition Prime makes my list for much of the same reason that the animated Voyager made it. It's a fresh design while maintaining a Transformers feel and executed well in that regard. Animated Prime as a toy made the list for being able to maintain the stylized aesthetic of the show and still being a great toy. The first edition is similar, but not only is it a great representation of its cartoon in toy form, it also brings a masterpiece level of quality to the table. The engineering on this toy is awesome, and I would say the details are even better. I absolutely love this figure. There aren't a lot of play features, and it doesn't come with a trailer like a lot of figures on this list, but it's still an incredible Optimus Prime toy that has a unique look due to the unique look of the Prime cartoon. That, with the masterpiece level of quality, makes the first edition Optimus Prime an iconic and highly sought after toy. And to finally wrap up the list, you know it had to end with 2020's Earthrise Optimus Prime. If the original G1 Prime toy was Tom Brady, then the Earthrise Prime has to be Patrick Mahomes when thinking about it in terms of greatness. Earthrise Prime has been our recent gold standard when it comes to a retail Prime release, but is a masterpiece with a lowercase m in its own right. The details, sculpt work, engineering, and articulation are excellent. One of the few things that holds Earthrise Prime back is the lackluster trailer. To even get a roller for it, you had to buy an accessory pack that commands a ridiculous price on the secondary market. Honestly, there isn't much to say about Earthrise Prime that most don't already know, so I will just say that the Earthrise Optimus Prime is a modern day classic that definitely deserves to have a spot on any best of Optimus Prime toys list. And I also wanted to note that I don't care for Brady or Mahomes, but I have to begrudgingly acknowledge how good they are. So this has been my top 10 list of the most influential / iconic Optimus Prime toys. As I mentioned in the intro, this list is subjective and only my opinion. Transformers is a 40-year-old franchise, so everyone has their own favorite Optimus Prime toys, and I would like to hear what yours are, so feel free to comment below. But please remember to be respectful. We're talking about toys and not anything serious. There's enough crap going on in the world, so let's not allow differences in opinion about giant transforming robots make us miserable. Let's keep it fun like they are meant to be. No matter what, as fans of this awesome franchise, we are lucky to have gotten so many cool Prime toys over the years, and Hasbro has been on a hot streak lately of banging out one great Prime toy after another, like the Reactivate, Gamer Edition, and Legacy Armada Prime, just to name a few. Will the Studio Series 86 movie Commander Class Prime kick somebody off the list, or do we just expand the list? Time will tell, and I'll be here for it. Until next time, thanks for docking.